day I wait for like my life on the line. Jungle in these streets, speak your peace on the line. Hustle to increase, put it all on the line. House to spouse, family, freedom, walking yards on the line. Every day I wait for like my life on the line. Jungle in these streets, speak your peace on the line. Hustle to increase, put it all on the line. House to spouse, family, freedom, walking yards on the line. Every day on the line. Every day on the line. Every day on the
because you had a lot of different individuals on the gangster crime. You had rappers, you had mobsters, you have penitentiary people, you had, you know, all these type of people. Have anybody ever came on there that you thought was trying to send a message as a beef to somebody else just to use that platform?
You know what? Yeah, a couple of times, but it was real small, lightweight stuff. One of the things I can speak on that was funny, man, we had two mobsters on the show, and he had sent a message out about this other dude talking about he wasn't shit and this and that. The other dude got mad and came back, and it started a little friction. But it was just funny because both of these motherfuckers is in their 70s.
Wow.
And it was just crazy, you know, to hear them talk shit back and forth. Well, I'll fucking lump his ass up if he comes over here. I was like, man, your old frail ass, if you don't sit down somewhere and chill. I ain't gonna say names, but we've had stuff like that, but not nothing too serious.
Yeah, let me say something, Jim. Excuse me. Let me ask you this question. Or not even the question, but I'm gonna make we're gonna do a review of something, right? Verbally for the audio people listening. I'm gonna review. If you go back and look at On the Line podcast reviews, OTL live, we did a review of a show that Gangster Chronicles did with Sammy the Bull. And you go back and check it out. We'll put it up. We'll see it. You understand where I was coming from. So I'm calling it the Sammy Bull Effect Part 2. In this show here, where you had Sammy Bull come on and talk about stuff, right? Okay. So if you go back and people go back and look at the online review I did, or we did for Sammy Bull coming on Gangster Chronicles, he's able to talk freely about, I think they charged him with 19 murders, or I can't even cap him out at 19 murders. So he legally by the United States federal government, they know what he did, they not tripping. So he can come and get on the camera and speak about 19 murders. And those who were involved in, you know what I'm saying, well, just talk about his stuff, period, and not go to jail. He's good. The United States government, he out. So it appears to me, I call it the Sammy Bull effect, since he got a podcast show and talking about, I don't think all the episodes about that stuff, but the few there are, or he's able to talk about different stuff. That's influence. That's power. That is being spread out across the internet and showed upon phones, TVs, radios, wherever there's
mass media.
You know what I'm saying? Where is that? That, like I said, like they're saying, well, you know, Sammy Bull can get on TV and talk about this and da. Sammy Bull ain't everybody. Sammy Bull has been capped off at 19 murders, or that, or some number along that line, and either the U.S. government, law enforcement, is not chasing behind him to get him. So some people, like you say, are not that smart. That gets on the internet and say stuff and do stuff because they saw Sammy Bull do what he do, and they either trying to outdo Sammy Bull or use Sammy Bull as the cover to do what they're doing. You understand where I come from? So that's why I call it the Sammy Bull effect. Because the first time Sammy Bull got on TV was on Dateline of 2020 something, and he you know told me, you know, when he cooperated with the federal government. He ratted on some people, on his homeboys, right? I was in prison when that show came out. I saw motherfuckers the next day and weeks to come in do something and use Sammy Bull and oh man, Sammy Bull on TV. You don't see that shit last night? Sammy Bull on TV. Whoa. It's like, wow, that's how you gonna do Sammy Bull? You gonna use Sammy Bull to piece him off the yard? You gonna use Sammy Bull as an excuse to go back to court on niggas? Try to get yourself out of shit? Yeah, I seen that shit up and I was on the GP yard wasn't no protected custody yard or SNY yard in the state of California. I was like, this shit crazy. I cannot believe this.
And
so that's why I said when you had him on the show, Stupid General Party, when you had him the first one we did the review, I was like, wow. When I might have a discussion with you and okay, you was like, you're saying book, I'm like, man, that's huge.
Yeah, it is.
That's huge as hell,
that
bro.
surprising to you that he was?
You
did not know.
On the show. Hold on a second again. What that does, that showed a lot. People saw that. How many hits again? How many reads again? I don't know what the number was, but the people saw that.
Yeah.
And they ran out like, man, Sammy Bull, man, shit, I can do better than that nigga. Woo, 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 that motherfucker, woo, woo, woo. Oh, give me a camera, give me a microphone. Let me get up there and start talking about some stuff. And that's what people have been doing.
Yeah, well, dude.
So that was an influence. That episode was influence to people, and you're right. To a lot to the bad, but there is some good, which you have done, creating a company and bringing people into the game. So it's like I say, it's a two-sided thing, but it's got blessings and it got curses in it. By being part of a podcast or being involved in a podcast as a business person. And bringing on people onto the show and learning about this business, because this is a business. And money is revenue is being generated for, if you do it correctly and you do it right.
Yeah, it can be some money generated.
Correct.
And I think that's the biggest misconception with this shit. It's like, I think motherfuckers believe I'm printing money sometimes. It's just like, I got so many motherfucking bills, though. Like seriously, bills, all this stuff costs money, man, and you gotta remember, you dealing with different personalities.
Yeah. Some
of these people are your friends. Some of these people you just got a business relationship with. So you gotta kind of just keep it like, you feel what I'm saying? You gotta keep it on just up and up with people, because see, people, they have a podcast and they see you starting to get some money and they automatically assume that you're taking something from them. And it's like, no, boss, I got other stuff going on within this thing. This is a business. It's not, I just don't deal with your show. I'm dealing with multiple shows. You feel what I mean?
Exactly.
Multiple shows. So it does get, like when it comes to that, man, I think it's a lot of misconceptions in this business. People think everybody that got out, they got $1 million. That's a damn lie. A lot of these deals that you hear about be lies. People that over-exaggerate the truth. I can say I got $1 million. I didn't get $1 million. I can say it though.
Yeah.
You know, what's to stop me from saying they gave me $1 million? You know, no, that's some bullshit.
Okay, let me ask you this then. When we talk about numbers, and you would say, oh, I got a deal for this, but getting a deal for $1 million and walking away with it is two different things.
Yeah, well, first of all, let's say you do get $1 million from a podcast, right? This is what usually happens. Upon signing, you will get half of that. When you turn in the 52nd episode, you will get another half. Or it could be broke off for longer than that. It could be you get the other half once you turn in once you turn in the first 2 seasons or whatever, however it's structured, right? But you're not getting all that money just up front like that. Because think about this. Sometimes.
So you tell me it's not direct deposit into an account that day when you do the deal?
No, it don't do it. It don't work like that. You may have a thing. Think about it like this: somebody just cut me a check for $1 million. I got that $1 million now. What if I up and decide after 10 episodes I don't want to do this shit no more? I'm tired of it. You know what I mean? I'm tired of it. Or I could just be in a badass accident. My health could be fucked up. I can't do it no more. What's the recourse for the company? The hardest money to get back is money that you don't gave a motherfucker already.
Yeah.
Why you think you hear about them stories, man, about people, they job accidentally deposit $200,000 in their account, and them motherfuckers making $4 an hour somewhere struggling. They see that as a break from God. That's a blessing. They going in that motherfucker, closing their account out that day, cashing out, and getting on the first boat, smoking back to wherever the fuck they come from. Good luck getting that back. That was your fault. That was your fault. Now me, if I go in the bank one day and I see an accidental thing, a motherfucker don't put $200,000-300,000 in there, I'm gonna ask a question first. I'm gonna ask questions like, where did this money come from? You know, what's going on? Is this a mistake? And then I'm gonna get the transferring shit every fucking where, because I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But
we are recording.
Oh, I ain't even know shit like that. But I'm just saying though, people have these misconceptions in their head, and a lot of times all they have to do is use common sense.
Yeah, a lot.
And that's not me being a hater or nothing, because there are some podcasts out there that get paid, but those podcasts are doing extremely well.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan is a huge podcast. He gets millions of downloads on both his audio and video. You know, he's worth for whatever Spotify gave him. He was worth every fucking penny.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Gillian Rowell, they doing their thing.
Yeah, I like that.
They really get money, but those guys worked hard to get that platform going.
And even if, you know, in this business that I learned from you talking to you off camera, you know, just chopping it up, you know, you got to focus on your own and see where your niche is. Because everybody, like you told, everybody grab a microphone and the camera, hop right in front of them and think, oh, y'all got me something now.
Well, you know, yeah, because I'm going to tell you what this has turned into, and I'm going to tell you what Gangsta Chronicles did create. And I'm not going to say we was the first one highlighting gangsters online. We wasn't doing that. You had a lot of you had a couple of podcasts out there, too, that would, you know, interview gangsters and those shows were more specifically targeted towards the culture of gang banging, Crip and Blood culture.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because it is a culture. A lot of people don't understand that.
You narrowed it down, though.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah,
so
when I was saying street affiliation, and then it wasn't just Damo Keyway, because there's all kind of other street affiliation all across the United States.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know,
yeah.
And I'm just talking about on the West Coast in specific. You had certain programs that showed that we were the first ones to put it like in an organized broadcast setting and actually sit down and have conversations like that. You know, you have more or less conversations going on about people's neighborhoods. You know, you got a lot of other platforms that do their thing, you know. But that's what they did, and when we came in with something different, and I see a lot of people doing it now. I even see people that were like traditionally just interviewing recording artists. Now they interviewing gangbangers, they interviewing everybody else. They can thank us for that.
Oh yeah, of course. And that's why I said a few conversations ago that Gangsta Chronicles had a lot of individuals from entertainers. They had people getting out of prison, people who was on their way to prison. They had drug dealers. They had different forms of life sitting there. Even with females. You know, some people don't want to talk to females about because they live a rough. You got some females out there too.
Well, you know, actually, you know, and the be for the record, we not doing no more content like that. Not as of now. We won't be signing any more content like that because we already have enough of it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like after a while, it's kind of like, man, you know, we gonna become, you know, the G network now. You know what I mean? It's like, you know what I'm saying? When you already have enough of something, to me, you have to learn how to master marketing the shit that you got before you start taking on a whole bunch of new shit.
But then you when you say that, you gotta look at it's still people who want to hear that. How many death row stories we didn't heard through?
And people will continue wanting to hear them.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna tell you the funniest thing, man. I had a conversation with Suge Knight maybe about 3 weeks ago. And you know, even talking to Suge, him being locked up, he still sound like that same old Suge. You know what I mean? Like he's still funny. You know what I'm saying? Still say funny shit. You know, funny dude, man. Suge got a big personality, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those stories go forever be entrenched in American pop culture.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You think about it. One of the biggest rap artists of all time was launched from that. You got Dr. Dre, one of the, you know, the #1 hip hop producer of all time behind that. You got Suge Knight, who we probably won't get the credit because of all his outside stuff, but one of the best young black executives ever in hip hop. Pop quick. You feel what I'm saying?
So you think you say he was a Berry Gordy?
Man, you got if Suge wouldn't have got fucked off, hell yeah, he'd have been on the level of Berry Gordy. Man, the Death Row was selling records, dog. Like, can't nobody front on that. And you got to remember, Dre was a well-known producer, but they didn't come out with well-known rappers.
See,
you feel what I'm saying? So them was all brand new people, but it was so immaculate.
Yeah.
You know, you got a tall, skinny nigga from Long Beach, man. He come out with that shit. It was just different at the time.
But see, I'm gonna tell you this still. That tree that they fell off of was some Eazy-E.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's the tree.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they fell off that tree, but still, you've had other people fall off of other trees too that was just as big, right? That didn't pop. Death Row sold a lot of records and they thing, and if they could have kept that thing going, dude, I don't think why you think Snoop still so passionate about it? even all this time later, Snoop ain't got nothing to prove to no motherfucker.
Well, you think about it, Death Row was only around for like 4 years.
That's what I'm saying.
If that, and they did 4 years with record companies was doing 20 years, and they did that in 4 years. And also, they didn't have a lot of artists, bro. They only had like really 4 or maybe 5 artists that was carrying the whole show.
Yeah, and that's a fact. And you think about it, a lot of those, they had some classic artists, and I don't say this is no disrespect to nobody, but you had the people who was carrying Death Row at that time. You had Snoop, right? You had Tupac. You had Dr. Dre. Even though Nate Dogg ain't never have no big solo records, not he didn't have a big huge solo. He didn't have an album that went out and sold millions of copies, but he sung hooks on some of the greatest records of all time.
Oh yeah, that's the assist leader. Ain't nobody gonna beat him in assists.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, so you had a dynamic there. And I'm gonna tell you this, Daz was a bad motherfucker. Daz, he was still a bad motherfucker, but Daz was a bad motherfucker, dog.
See, one thing I know about Daz, he's smart. He know his business as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Daz is doing a lot of things independently now. It's
so
real big.
So real quick, not going into detail, because I know as soon as you said that name, everybody just came a little closer.
Mm-hmm.
So the conversation with Suge, was it good and positive?
Yeah, it was good and positive. You know, all my interactions with Suge have always been positive. Like, I ain't got one of them stories to where, I saw niggas get beat up and all the other stuff. No, dog. It wasn't never no thing like that. Not saying that he might not have did some shit wrong to people. You feel what I mean? Mm-hmm. Every man is different. I kind of have a tendency to deal with people how they deal with me.
Right.
Like, cause you always hear stories about other people. It's a motherfucker that might hear shit about Fomby and won't want them beating nowhere near around him, but they don't know him. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
But I tend to judge people on how they interact with me.
Okay. So
every day I wait for like my life on the line. Jungle in these streets, speak the beats are on the line. Hustle to increase, put it all on the line. House to spouse, family, freedom, walking yards on the line. Every day on the line. Every day, every day.